Hey guys, welcome back to another Power Pack YouTube live session presented by Scoreleap. For those of you who don't know, Scoreleap is a edtech company that trains students for standardized tests like GMAT, GRE, and SAT. Not just that, they also help you with the admission process. I am Shreya, your host for today. Today's session is especially exciting because we're diving into something that so many aspiring students think about what it is like to pursue MBA at HEC Paris. So, welcome to Inside HEC Paris MBA, a conversation series where we go beyond rankings and brochures and talk about what MBA life actually looks like from the perspective of students living it. And for today's session, we're joined by Christopher Jonathan, who has recently completed his MBA at HEC Paris. Welcome to the session, Christopher.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so how have you been?
I'm doing great, enjoying my day here back in hometown.
Okay, that's great. So are you ready? Let's get into the session.
Sure.
Yeah. So Christopher, before HEC Paris, who were you? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
I was a marine engineering graduate from one of the best engineering school in Indonesia. In that period, I learned about investment a bit because my friends introduced me to stock investment. Um, but I didn't start my career on engineering or finance. I started my career by working in an insurance company. I stayed there for 2 years, and after that, in the beginning I didn't intend to take an MBA, but after 2 years, I realized that I didn't like the job and I should find another things to do, right? So I thought MBA was the best option for me because I wanted to go to investment. If you take finance, you have to need like prior knowledge of it. So it wasn't a good option for me. So I was thinking MBA was the good option. And then I decided to resign after 2 years working there and prepare for my MBA. I studied GMAT, studied TOEFL, which is I studied GMAT on Scoreleap too. Um, I also built my own portfolio by managing my relatives capital. After 1 year, I got a job in a sell side companies as an investment specialist because of my portfolio that I built on managing my relative capital. I worked there as an investment specialist for 2 years, and on one after 1.5 years working there, I got accepted to HEC. But I still had another problem. I didn't get the scholarship. I didn't get the financing, so I had to defer my intake 1 year later. And then after 1 year, after four times trial, I finally got my government scholarship, and I started my MBA on September 2024. That was me before MBA.
That's quite a hectic background. Yeah. So if I had met you 1 week before you started your MBA, what would you have been most excited about and also most nervous about?
I think after almost 5 years leaving schools, the thing that I would be excited the most would be meeting new people, make friends with people from all other the worlds. And I've also heard that students in SGC living together inside the campus, like inside the dorm. So that's why the connection is really strong. And like studying again, you don't have to worry about anything else. You just need to study. It makes me really excited. And the things that makes me nervous, I think um, I have I've heard a lot of bad stuff about Paris and Parisian. Like a lot of scammers. People are rude. Not a lot of people speak English. That was the things that makes me really scared and anxious. And especially that was the first time for me to be living abroad.
But you've been through all of it in a really nice way, so that's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, so since you were already, you had other things going on, and How did you decide that, that this was the right time in your career to pursue the MBA?
It's simply because after 2 years working in the insurance company, I saw that people working there, they didn't grow. They just work for the sake of living. And I didn't like my job at the time. I really hated it. And I felt like I couldn't go back to engineering anymore because it was a bit too late. And if I wanted to work in finance, I needed some sort of finance slash business background. And if I wait a bit longer, I'm afraid it would be more difficult for me to switch. The average age of students in my cohort was around 29 to 32. So I was on the average. Um, so that was my reason and my consideration why I thought it would be the best time for me to take the MBA at the time.
Okay, fair. So there are many top MBA programs, but what made HEC stand out for you?
Um, the thing I look for when I looking for MBA schools are the balance between coursework and the activities outside the classroom. When I look at the ranks, SGC caught my eyes because it was on the first rank at that time, and SGC also has a comprehensive program. They have leadership courses, they have a lot of group simulations, various specialization, and also the flexibility options. Even now, they have another new program, which I didn't get it when I was there. So they have a finance, I can say like finance focus programs. So in the beginning of MBA, you there will be only 20 participants that will be drilled um, to be ready for the finance sector. So it's only 20 participants of all the cohorts, and it would be selected by looking at your background and your knowledge and your the relevancy with your background and your future goals, which is great. And also, I want to talk about the flexibility options. So in the term three, you can choose your program. In HTC, you need to take minimum 5 electives slash intensive to graduate. You can take electives, intensive, or CDL. CDL is a program that you'll be paired with a startup, and you will help them to solve their issue. And if you take the electives, it will be in the term three. But if you take the intensive, it will be in the middle of the term break. So if you take the electives or CDL, you won't have anything on term three. So usually students do 3 month internship during the term three. So you have like a plenty of time in the term three for doing internship. Even some of my friends, they go back home just enjoying their time there with their families. So that's also my consideration, the flexibility option. Also, my classes, my consideration is that I want to have connections all over the world. HTC has offered like 90% diversity. So I wanted to have friends from many other countries. And I also like the concept of student club. I can run for presidency of a student club. I can participate in the MBAT. MBAT is the largest European MBA competition. So yeah.
Okay, that's great. Um, so was there a particular th moment when you thought HEC is where you want to be?
Not necessary, but if I can emphasize, the thing that struck me the most, aside from the ranks, of course, is the diversity and outside class activities. So yeah, that was my um my priority consideration.
Okay. So now that you've experienced it all firsthand, has HEC lived up to your expectations?
Yes, of course. I grew a lot in HEC. I know how to make and maintain connection. I know how to work with people from various backgrounds. I learned a lot about business and finance. But the good thing about MBA is you learn a bit of everything. So you have a complete understanding of the business. You learn about operations, strategy, and macroeconomics. Even you learn how to give good feedback in leadership classes. I think one of many courses that I like the most is the leadership classes. I learned through simulation and cases. Also strategy classes. I learned about the strategy companies of companies to solve various issues. You know, companies such as Disney, Unilever, and other companies. Oh, also HEC has career coach for students. So you will have your profile checked by them, and they will give you steps what you need to improve. So you have to list your 3 career goals in order, and they will check if your goals will be reachable or not. So yeah, but speaking generally, I met a lot of good friends in HCC, and I really love my time there.
Okay, that's good. So what was it like your first week at HEC?
Um, I arrived on campus 2 weeks before the classes started, so there was not a lot of people because they were still on summer break. I went straight to my room and saw an invitation in the group to have lunch together with my friends in the canteen. After I put my stuff in my room, I went to the canteen where I met 2 people who would become my close friends. We had lunch there for 3 hours there, and we started to get to know each other. I think most of my time in the first 2 weeks was just spent hanging around with people and settling, buying things for my room. It was really nice.
Okay, that's good. What was one thing that surprised you the most when you arrived on campus?
The campus is huge. Like, there are a lot of facilities, like 2 football pitches, a volleyball court, a lake, rugby field, gym, badminton, and it has its own bar called Wonder Bar. Because HEC is not in Paris, so just so you know, HEC is not in Paris. It's around 1 hour from Paris. Campus must facilitate all the activities there, of course. Um, so HEC has everything because it's like in a village. It's 1 hour from Paris in a village, so HEC has to facilitate everything. But the most stunning things is HEC has a super big forest. Like usually students go there for a trailing run, um, in the morning or in the evening. And of course, inside campus, you must walk everywhere. It takes 10 minutes walk from my dorm to the class. So I must walk 10 minutes earlier before the class started.
Okay. So was it easy to settle into life in France since you've mentioned all of these amenities? Did it really help you?
To be honest, it's really difficult because French has its own system and we have to follow. And it's very complicated. I remember it took me 3 months to finish the CAF process. It's a process to get a RAM subsidy from the French government. I think they've already delayed the program, the CAF program. Um, of course, another thing to make an appointment with the doctor, it takes months. Like if you want to make appointment on July, maybe you'll get the payment for November or December. So yeah, it's a bit complicated. For transportation, you have to download an app to buy a ticket or go to the counter. You can't pay with the credit card. And also, as Parisian, a lot of Parisian, they're rude if you don't speak French. So the cultural difference hit me really hard. But after a few months, I'm used to that, and also schools helped me a lot to get settled.
That sounds tough. So, so I'm someone that's considering an MBA, and I'm curious, what did a typical day at HEC look like?
Um, I would divide the the curriculum into term 1 and 2, and then term 3 and 4. In the term 1 and 2, it's really crazy because you will have classes from 8 a.m. until 5 or 6 p.m. every day. Maybe you only have one day off. And it depends on the classes, but there are some classes that you need to read a case before class. You'll have the same group work decided for the term. So you will have to work with the same people in the same group for that term. And it's really difficult because people come from different countries, different backgrounds, maybe cultural difference, different working style. You have to adapt. And the break is usually from 12 to 1 p.m. And in the evening, you can do anything you want to do. Some people play football, some people do exercise, go to the gym. Yeah. And in the term 3 or 4, it's a lot easier because in the term 4, it depends on which specialization are you taking. I took finance specialization, so it was intense. There are final exams for each course, so you have to study well. In some other specializations, there are only final projects and some other things to do, but no exam. Um, so yeah, but the good thing about finance specialization is that there's only one course that has group projects, which I don't really like group projects. In other specialization, like a strategy, you'll do a lot of negotiation, simulation, and a lot of cases. So yeah, so for it depends on specialization you take.
Okay. So, you mentioned that you were doing engineering before this, and I want to know how the teaching style is different, compared to what you had experienced in your MBA.
I think the most difference is the professor requires you to be active in the class by asking questions or answering professor questions. Of course, like in the classes that you need to prepare like reading cases before the class. If you don't read it, you won't understand anything. And if no one read the case during the class, sorry, if no one read the case before the class on the class, like in the classroom, no one read the case. No one answer the questions. The professor would be a bit mad because it was
Yeah.
our mistake also, right? So yeah, you need to be active, reactive, and ask questions. And professor use analogy, which is really great. A lot of group projects, simulations, and the teaching quality is, it's one of the best business school in the world. So yeah, it's already um, very great, of course.
So you happen to mention your professors and their techniques, but were there any specific classes or specific professors that completely changed the way you think?
Yeah, I think it would be, he's my financial market professor. His name is Ionet Rosu. He's really funny. So when you come to the class and you're late, he will ask you to be a volunteer. A volunteer here means when he explain the topics, he will ask you to answer the questions. So you have to be ready, and I always come early to the class because I don't want to
Yeah.
betray of that. And the way he taught the students make it simple to understand. I remember he said in the class that present value formula is the formula of everything in finance. And I remember he mentioned about crazy flying horse to explain the things in the finance classes. So yeah, I'm not preparing CFAs, so it's relevant right now. And I just realized that the thing that he said before was really true, and it really makes me understand the finance really simple.
Okay. So, people often focus on the academics, but what does student life at HEC really look like beyond all of the studying and all of that outside of your classroom?
I really like the student life in HEC because I feel like I it's pretty similar with undergrads because you can join student club, you can join council, you can join you can be a core team or volunteer of MBAT. MBAT like the biggest MBA competition. So um, people from MBA in Europe, they come to HCC and they compete. Even you can participate to join the competition. I competed on FIFA and band competition and last MBAT. And also you can be an exchange buddy for exchange students. For information, you need one leadership point as a requirement to graduate. So you have to join at least one of those. Also, we usually party every Wednesday. It's organized by MBA Council and it's inside the campus. So it's totally safe. You can also join a lot of exercise classes such as CrossFit, gym, boxing, badminton, volley, or other things. You just need to sign up through the app. So yeah, the student life are you can do a lot of things in HEC.
That's great. So, in one of our previous questions, you happened to mention that, you have friends from different cultures. So, can you please elaborate on how international your MBA cohort was?
Um, the diversity in HEC is around 95%. So it's representing around 60 nationalities. There are in my cohort like 170 people, and there are only four people who's coming from French. So there are only four French people. Um, the majority are Americans, Indians, Japanese, Chinese. Um, yeah, it's very diverse. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, have you made any friends from countries that you never imagined you'd connect with?
I think some of my close friends they're coming from Peru.
Okay.
I didn't know that Indonesia and Peru shares some things in common in terms of the food. We are separated thousands of miles, but we have things in common. That's insane. Um, and I think Peruvians, they're really nice, they're really kind, and they're really easygoing. So, and they have quite significant numbers in HGC. And yeah, I've never thought that I would have a very close friend with Peruvians.
That's nice. So, what's your favorite campus tradition, event, or a memory so far?
I think I would say talent show. So it's an event in the campus that students can showcase their talents. You can dance, you can sing, play music, acting, or anything on the stage. I played music a couple of times there. Last time I performed there, I played some musical instruments like piano, guitar, and saxophone. Of course, not not at the same time.
Yeah.
For different stuff with the band. Um, so yeah, I love it because it's the event that people gather together, and usually it's around September, November or October, so just right before the MBA ends. So it's also the time that people saying goodbye, farewell before they finish their MBA on December. So it's great time there.
So you happen to mention that you play all of these instruments and you have other interests outside your classroom. Were you able to find the time on maybe like, a daily or a weekly basis to practice these instruments?
It's very challenging because MBA is very busy. But when we decided to participate during the talent show or embed, usually it was really hard for us to practice together, rehearsal together. So we practice by our own self, like in our room. So we decided the song, we decided the chord, and how are we gonna play, and then we practice separately, and we decided maybe once a week we practice together in the studio room. There's a studio room in HEC. So yeah, it's pretty challenging, especially people have different schedules. So but we have already committed, so yeah, we have to practice.
Okay. So moving on to networking. So networking is something that, every MBA aspirant hears about. And what does it actually look like at HEC?
Yes, networking is I think the most valuable thing in MBA. HEC has a lot of things, network event that you can participate. Usually, student club arrange the event. Also, once a year, HEC organize a job fair. So you can go there and then you can make connections with the people from the companies. Also, there's a club track that you can join depending on the club. So club track is an event that organized by the student clubs. For example, the student clubs or finance club. They organize a club trek to London. So they will visit some companies in London, maybe also some alumni organization in London, and then gather for alumni night or some sort of meetings there. So yeah, and also we have also during the beginning of the MBA, um, one course just talking about how to build your online presence on the through your LinkedIn and CV. So they will help you to organize your LinkedIn and to give you the template of the CV. So yeah, we have a lot of dedicated session talking about networking.
Okay. But how approachable are the alumni and industry leaders regarding to
I think
talking?
SCC alumni is easy to approach because we know that we live together during the study, so we feel the connection even with the alumni. I remember one of the alumni called me because he wanted to organize a company visit to his company. So he worked for a finance company there, and he initiated company visits for students to go there and then to get the explanation about what company is doing. He wanted to encourage diversity. That's why he called me as a president of APEC Club. After that, I still asked him several times for the contact of the relevant person who can give me advice for my career. And also, another thing, you can connect them on LinkedIn and ask for 15-minute chat, and they will happy to help. So yeah, they will be open, always open.
Yeah, that's great and helpful. So has the MBA changed the way you think about your career?
Yeah, I was thinking switching career when you were in the late 20s are strange. Companies won't hire you because they will prefer someone younger. But I can see that a lot of great people in my cohort who already have an incredible career, they want to switch and restart. Maybe restart geography, restart the sector, or even the position. They do that because they are not happy with their current life and they want to improve. I remember when I was in the start of MBA, I talked to my friend. She was more senior than me. She taught me, of course, you can always switch. Maybe we are older, but we have something that younger people don't have. We have experience. We know how to communicate professionally. Um, Technical things are easy to learn, but soft skills takes time to build. So I don't feel it weird anymore switching career because I saw a lot of people do the same thing and they succeed.
Okay, so with all of this experience that you have had with networking, what is one lesson that you wish you knew before starting?
Um, I think you need to start to network before you start your MBA. You can send cold message or LinkedIn as soon as possible. You need to ask for coffee chat because networks take time to build. If you're looking for an internship for term three, you need to find that as soon as possible. I'm lucky I could do my internship in the term three, even though I started to do networking a bit late. Um, Also, don't hesitate to ask for referral from your current network. For example, you know someone in company A who's maybe not relevant with your goal, but you can ask him to give you a referral, maybe someone who work in your dream position. After you do a coffee chat with that person, you can ask for a referral again to the next persons. So contacting someone you have a connection with, contacting someone you have a connection with is better than contacting someone who is a complete stranger because the person will trust you through your networks. So yeah, start your networking as soon as possible.
I mean, that's a great advice for all of us MBA aspirants, and I think we should work on that as well. So, what's the biggest way you've changed since joining HEC?
I think my personality grew better now. I become more direct, living in Paris and with people from different background, push me to say what I like and what I don't like. I'm taking an example in the group project. I learned to express my opinion even though I'm not sure, because we're in the learning process. Because people in the group, they also maybe not sure what they are talking about, but we are in the learning process, and giving opinion is the part of learning process. So yeah, I have finally succeeded to do that when I was in the term two. So it took me one term to develop that kind of skills.
Okay. So, what's been the most challenging part of your journey?
I think the most challenging part of my journey is to overcome my insecurities. When you're coming to the best school in the world, you are sure that you are one of the best talents in the world, but everyone thinks the same thing. But after seeing people with having bright ideas, 7 or 8 years work experience in the best companies in the world, you will feel insecure. Um, I've talked about this with my friend. He told me that you have your own way to contribute. You have your own quality. He gave me the example how I helped him to improve in a way that I didn't even realize. So yeah, to overcome, I also talk about it with some other people, and they also felt the same way. They also felt insecure, and everyone felt the same. And you have your own quality. That's why you're chosen to study in HTC. So yeah, it's you don't have to insecure of that.
Okay. And on the other hand, what's been the most rewarding part of your journey?
I think having the best people in the world as my friends. Now, if I want to go to Mumbai, I can just text my friend for advice or recommendations. If I want to go to Japan, I can call my friend. Maybe also in the future, they will give me a job. No one knows. That's the best network that you can get. So invest in your friends.
That's great. As they say, your network is your net worth.
Network. Yeah, I agree.
So, if someone watching today dreams of studying at HEC Paris, where should they begin?
The first thing you need to prepare is you have to prepare for the GMAT and TOEFL if you need it, because GMAT takes time to study. So that's the first thing you need to clear. After that, you need to check which schools that you wanna go. You have to check the current cohort profile, what type of person they are accepted, how many average working experience they are. If you have less work experience than the average, what qualities do you have to overcome that? Maybe you have international exposure, so you have to make a good story of yourself. So if you have weaknesses, you have to find a way how to overcome that weaknesses.
Okay. So, what qualities do you think HEC looks for beyond just the GMAT score and the work experience?
HEC invest in the future you. So you have to convince HEC that your goal is reachable. For example, I'm taking an example of myself. My working is my working experience is not special, but I've tried everything that I can do to reach my goals. I switch jobs, I manage my relatives' capital, I resign to prepare GMAT. This resiliency makes the community thinks that I will achieve my goals. But everyone's story is different. So um, all the stories from your past and your plan for the future should be aligned. Even though you want to switch industry, you need a strong reason why you want to do that
Yeah.
and what you have done. It's really important to build a good story. not only from your professional life but also your personal life.
Yeah, that makes sense. And with all of this experience, what is one mistake applicants should avoid?
Actually, I'm not sure because I've never talked to someone who got rejected, but I think uh, a lot of people focus more on GMAT. I understand GMAT is one of the requirements. You need to have a good score, but you have also other requirements. Once you get a good GMAT, the next thing you need to focus on is your essay, because the story is really important here, and the committee will judge you based on your story.
Yeah. So imagine you're just speaking to your younger self on the day you clicked submit on your HEC Paris application. What's the one piece of advice that you'd give to yourself?
I think I would say don't overthink it. You've done your best, and your best was never about being perfect. So it was about showing up, honestly. Whatever happened next, that's part's already done, right?
Yeah. Um, so that's it for our questions. But we have another round, the rapid fire round. So are you ready to get into that?
Of course, I'm ready.
Okay, so let's go. So one word to describe HEC Paris.
Strong connection. Sorry, it's two words, but yeah, strong connections.
Okay. One word to describe your MBA journey.
Um, Growth.
Okay. Your favorite professor.
Ionet Rosu.
Your favorite course.
Leadership and strategy.
Favorite place on campus.
Chappelle, because there's a piano there and I couldn't go to sleep. I went there just to play piano.
Coffee or French pastry.
French pastry.
Paris or we on Joaz.
Paris, of course, Paris.
Best memory at HEC.
Talent show.
Best country represented in your cohort besides your own.
Peru.
Group assignments or individual projects.
Individual projects.
Okay. One app every HEC student should have.
Bonjour, RATP or IDF Mobility. It's an app to see the schedule of the bus. So it's really important.
Okay. One French phrase every new student should learn.
Bonjour, ça va? I've a story about this because I was in the supermarket. I wanted to ask about something, and I just directly asked to the lady, "Do you know where is blah blah blah?" And he said to me, "Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour." So it's really important to say bonjour to everyone in French and ça va. Otherwise, you will get rejected.
Okay. So I guess there are no questions. Okay, so there are no questions. So, thank you, Christopher, for this enriching session. All of us, including myself, learned a lot today from this session. Also, audience, if you want Scoreleap to conduct more such events, feel free to drop in which university alumni you want us to have a webinar with. Thank you, Scoreleap, for organizing this session. And finally, thank you, audience, for joining us. You can drop in your queries at info@scoreleap.in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Have a wonderful weekend.